so down to earth. Best teachers, best people I've ever met.
BArT gives you motivation to want more from life.
I was incredibly proud and excited when I found out I was going to college.
BArT is going to make my future pretty bright.
There is a general idea amongst the student body of just being able to do as well as they can.
Well, I was teaching in Washington, D.C. and in district schools and even charter schools, and so had an opportunity to join the Building Excellent Schools Fellowship in Boston. They were looking for places to locate a school, and the only place I had a connection in Massachusetts was here because I went to college in this area.
I had started a foundation called the Prospect Foundation, whose mission was to integrate technology into the public school system in North Adams. So when Sim had this notion of a technology and art-driven charter school, it was a logical conversation for he and I to have.
There was a lot of opposition to the charter school being founded and being formed. It was a dicey place to be politically.
The mayor of North Adams, various politicians went on to public access television station, holding the application in their hand and reading through it and naming names and telling people
there will be consequences if they supported us.
It probably wasn't later than day 3 on the job when I got the notice that we were being sued.
Every possible way that roadblocks could be put up were used.
At the end of the day, they were suing the state, but they joined us to the case.
I had always envisioned the school at Mass MoCA. You know, I think that's maybe almost too logical, but that's what seemed like the right thing to do.
There was a one-man commission that could veto tenants for Mass MoCA.
And the committee of one, being the mayor of North Adams, vetoed it.
Even if we could work through the building process in North Adams, the best site was this one in Adams, the one we are at today.
there was a lawsuit against the state and us.
There's going to be a moratorium on new charter schools.
We realized we're going to struggle with Adams to get our building permit.
We had people counting on us.
We were the only school that was already approved that was added in to the moratorium.
The moratorium was finally overridden. At that point, we were given the green light.
We were getting closer and closer to opening, and there was no way our contractors were going to be able to correct the building for us in time for an opening day. We do have all these families who've signed up. We do have all of these teachers who have signed up, and we don't know where we're going to open. And we are 4 weeks out from the start of school.
There was a moment when, you know, the place that you see behind me, we were considering it as a site for the school. The barns and some of the stuff on my personal property was under consideration.
What could we borrow here that could be the school? And there were chicken coops and a few extra buildings.
Mount Greylock might be willing to let us open there, but it's going to cost us $50,000. And Bo said to me, a problem that could be solved just with money? I love it. and agrees that night to support us and says, you go for it and I'll make sure that money is there.
I think having this building meant a lot to the students. It was our building, and it was nice, and it was clean, and it was newly painted, and it was sunny.
It was a school that was becoming. It was a school that was inventing itself. I mean, it was a chance to take a clean slate and decide if you were to build a school, if you were to found a school, what would be important? What would go into that?
It was pretty crazy. We were all really kind of worried about where the school was going. There were just so many students that had a lot of misinformation about what kind of school this was going to be. And as it sort of whittled down to a smaller group, I think it became more comfortable for us.
We had a school that students loved, parents loved, but they were not achieving the academic success, and we absolutely had to do that.
We had to begin looking at data and in a very diligent and organized way.
But then the state introduces this growth model, and pretty quickly, the first year they start publicizing the growth model results, it was very clear that students at BArT grew more than every district school and were considered high growth compared to all the schools across the state.
Today, we have a thriving community with more than 300 students coming from 15 towns. They come in every day and work extremely hard. We have a longer school day, a longer school year, and higher expectations of what it takes to graduate.
they wanted to help me and make sure that I was okay, to make sure that I had the stability to do the work instead of sitting there and not doing anything and just being bad. So I lived with these people and my father for 5 years, and then after that it didn't work out. Everyone was going crazy, you know. It was just like a regular house, and there was literally 10 to 12 people living in that one house. My friends at my other school, they were a bad influence on me because they were into trying to drink and smoke and all that, but I was not trying to do that. If I were to stay in that school, I would probably ended up like them.
If I hadn't gone to BArT, I would not be writing at all. Writing is my passion, and I probably wouldn't have discovered that the way I did. A lot of things would be different about me. I would probably be afraid to be myself.
I've been homeless about 4 times, well, probably more than that, but as 4 times really that I can remember in the past 3 years. So we've been homeless quite a few times. We rarely ever have a lot of money. We struggle with food a lot. School in general is very stable for me. It's a great environment. I mean, we're all pretty accepting of each other. BArT is gonna make my future pretty bright. I mean, from right here till when I graduate, it's probably the best school around here.
So I looked at the North Adams schools, I looked at Hoosick Valley High School, and I looked in Williamstown as well. I also looked at Pine Cobble because I could afford that. And I picked BArT because when he came here, it felt like he'd fit. And when I met the staff in the special ed department, I knew that they were knowledgeable, I knew they were generous professionals, and I knew they'd support him. My son has about 8 diagnosed disabilities. And when you look at him, he looks just like this fun-loving guy, but he struggles immensely and has a lot of trouble learning. Here, he's engaged, he's attached to the curriculum, he's attached to the teachers, he's successful, he's cool. He's never been cool before.
As soon as our students come in 6th grade, it's all about college, college, college. So as soon as they come in for the tour and the interview, they meet myself and the enrollment counselor, and we start talking about, where do they want to go to college? Do they have any aspirations? What colleges do they know about?
My dad dropped out of high school, and my mom went to college and left after 2 years, so I will be, at least in my immediate family, the first college graduate. I was having disciplinary problems, I was having educational problems, I was failing most of my classes, and I said, you know what, I'll give anything a try. And I came here, and it clicked really well.
I would not think about college near as much as I do now as if I went to Jury or McCann. I would be thinking more about, well, what's coming next in high school, and BArT forces you to think, well, what's coming next in my life?
I've been accepted to MCLA, Salem State University, UMass Lowell, and I'm going to be going to Emmanuel College in Boston.
I've been accepted to Rochester Institute of Technology, UMass Dartmouth, Berkshire Community College, and Dean College. And I'm going to UMass Dartmouth for graphic design.
We have students here at BArT whose parents don't think that they will ever be college material, but by the end of their time here at BArT, and once they head off to college, it's a great moment of pride for everyone once we realize that they are in fact prepared to go to college.
Bo, we consider to be a co-founder of the school. He was there with us as we were dreaming of the school. He was there with us right from the beginning when we got the charter. And he was there not just as an encourager and supporter, but in very practical ways.
Many people come and go as supporters of this school. And what I know is true about Bo is that he has always been there and was there, especially in the most formative, critical years.
And even today, he is somebody I will call when I don't know how to handle a situation. He's a really trusted advisor who cares tremendously about the success of our school.
His monetary assistance was extremely helpful, but his moral support was really equally helpful. And for that, it takes a special kind of person who can provide that kind of support, and Bo is a special kind of person.
Bo is one of those people that I point to and say this school would not exist without him.
I choose to continue to be involved with BArT in part because it chooses to keep me involved, but also because it's successful.